What's good, Commanders fans? Another video today. So there's some news coming out, some concrete news. Adam Schefter said that the Commanders, they have reportedly had talk centered around superstar receiver Brandon Aiyuk of the 49ers, but Washington declined the offer made by San Francisco. It's looking as if there is traction between both sides to get a deal done, per Adam Schefter. So this was on ESPN today, talking with Ryan Clark. Like I said in my video earlier, Ryan Clark had Brandon Aiyuk on the Pivot podcast, and he said that Jaden Daniels walked into the room with him. He was there with him for the podcast. Now, I don't know if Jaden Daniels spoke on the podcast or not, but Jaden Daniels was with Brandon Aiyuk. Jaden Daniels and Brandon Aiyuk have gone everywhere together. The pictures, Instagram, FaceTime, they've just been together, connected. And Jaden Daniels said this before, like they talk 3 to 4 times a day. So they talk a lot. I remember the interview he did on draft night. He said somebody was like, who do you want to play with? And Jaden Daniels immediately said Brandon Aiyuk. So, I mean, there's a lot of connection there. Of course, they played at Arizona State together, where they broke a couple big time passing play records at Arizona State. So, I mean, a lot of connections there, man. A lot of connections, friendships. And then Adam Peters was on the 49ers staff, assistant GM, with Brandon Aiyuk being there. So just a lot of connections. I do believe that, honestly, all this will probably end up just with Aiyuk staying in San Fran this upcoming year. Maybe next year he'll become a free agent, or they get an extension done. They're supposed to be meeting today. We don't know. Right now it's 6 o'clock. It's 6:56 over there in San Fran. So they could still be talking at this point and trying to make a deal. So even on FaceTime, Brandon Aiyuk was like, they don't want me here. But Adam Schefter said that is not the case, that the Niners do want him there. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, it looks like we had a deal on the table. I don't know what the Niners offered. Maybe they wanted a first-round pick for Brandon Aiyuk, and Adam Peters said that's too steep. Remember, Adam Peters said that he wants to build through the draft. That and this first year may not be the year where they take a swing with a big trade or something like that. They haven't made any big-time signings. Yes, they got Bobby Wagner, they got Frankie Louis, but they've all been calculated signings. We haven't done any like big swing type of throwing a big bag at anybody. All the signings were calculated signings. All the free agent signings were pretty modest or solid to good deals. It wasn't like huge deals like Brandon Aiyuk possibly could be getting 30 mil. You look at all the receivers, man, they are getting paid. Like Jaden Waddle got a big deal. Nico Collins got a darn good deal. Calvin Ridley got 23 per year. So Justin Jefferson's getting 35 per year. A.J. Brown 32 per year, 32 million per year. Amon-Ra St. Brown 30 million per year. Tyreek Hill 30 million per year. And Jalen, like I said, Jalen Waddle $28 million per year. Jalen Waddle's a number 2 receiver. He's not even a number 1. He's a darn good football player, but a number 2 getting $28 million is it's a good amount of money, man. It's a good amount. Devontae Smith $25 million. Right now, Terry's deal $23 million, which is a darn good deal, but you know, he's seeing all these receivers surpass him, and then Brandon Aiyuk clearly is going to surpass him. Brandon Aiyuk, look at the numbers, hit a 92.1 PFF grade, was the highest graded wide receiver in the NFC. Had a solid season with 1,300 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns, played in 16 out of 17 games. 1,015 yards last year with 8 touchdowns. 78 catches in 2022, 75 catches in 2023. So, I mean, darn good player, man. Darn good player. I mean, he would make this team really, really nasty. Him, Terry, Jahan, like I said, we would have a top 5 receiving core in the league, arguably a top 2, top 1, possibly. If Jaden Daniels can become what I think he will be, then yeah, this would be this. Then the quarterback the quarterback pushes that receiving core. So I think on paper we'd be a top 5. We have a top 5 receiving core, but the quarterback has to really get the best out of that core, because I think last year we had a darn good receiving core, but the offensive coordinator and the quarterback just weren't able to get the best out of the combination offensive line. There was a lot of factors into it, but I think last year's receiving core was a darn good core with Jahan and Terry and Curtis. But this, with where Jahan can be a number 3 instead of a number 2, and Aiyuk and Terry are 1A, 1B. I mean, that's just a nasty, nasty route running trio, to be honest. The guys, they're just going to stay open. They're going to be open all the time. Ocho Cinco, used to call him and T.O. 7-11, staying open. These guys would be open all the time. All the time. It would make it so much easier for Jaden. Now, the only thing is just the offensive line. That's the thing. Like, right now, we're in that rebuilding phase where, let's see what happens with Brandon Coleman. Let's see if he is the answer. This is rookie year, so I'm not expecting him to go out there and be a shut down, locked down left tackle, just protecting the blind side every play. Like, he's going to make mistakes. It just comes with it being a rookie, so it's going to come with it. He's got to, he played right tackle, left tackle. He's played guard, so he's played a lot of positions. So we'll see. They want him to play left tackle. I think it will be a good left tackle for sure, but it's going to take some time. So, like I said, Adam Peters doesn't want to. Now, I did see a trade that's been circulating online, like a trade proposal or a mock trade, which would be a second and a fourth, and De'Ami Brown for Brandon Aiyuk. And honestly, I wouldn't mind that at all. You keep your first, you keep your third. If Brandon Coleman is still raw and you want to get a left tackle, like a top tier stud left tackle, possibly next year or something like that, then you can do that next year. And you still have your first, you still have your third. So you trade the second and your fourth round pick and just throw De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown is probably unnecessary. I don't even think they would ask for De'Ami Brown, but it sounds like they're asking for a first. And Adam Peters like, yeah, I'm not going to give you a first for Brandon Aiyuk. I like Aiyuk, but I'm not giving you a first when, we can draft another guy in the draft next year. Just get another receiver in the draft. But banking on the draft, it's not a guarantee. Like, getting Aiyuk, you're getting a top 15, top 20 receiver, really, really good number 2, or a solid number 1 in Brandon Aiyuk, a guy that gets open, cooks, touchdown, good hands, all that, good route runner, separation. He did cook a man for us last year, and he cooked Trayvon Diggs in the playoffs the year before. So this guy gets open all the time. So you look at the Stephon Diggs trade. Stephon Diggs got traded for a second round pick. Like, he got the Bills attached a 6th and a 5th. And Stephon Diggs for just to get a second round pick back. So, I know Aiyuk is younger, but maybe we get something like that. Maybe we could get just trade like a second and a fourth for Brandon Aiyuk or something like that. A second and a 5th. Maybe a second and 5th would be even better for Brandon Aiyuk. But it looks like the Niners are playing hardball, and that's just how it goes. That's what they got to do. So I don't blame him at all. But like I said, Adam Peters right now. We'll see what happens later on. But, Adam Peters and Schefter. Schefter had a couple reports. So, this is the timeline, too. Like I said, he's been at Tyson's corner with Brandon Aiyuk in the mall, which is in Virginia. Pretty nice size mall, pretty big mall. Them taking a selfie. So, on February 12th, Brandon Aiyuk's girlfriend posted on IG, it might be the last time we step foot at Levi's because we might not be here next season. So, just a lot of stuff has come out from Brandon Aiyuk. And a lot of times, I don't like when receivers are all over social media. That's what I like about Terry a lot. No knock on Brandon Aiyuk. But what I like about Terry is that you're not going to see him on social media. You're not going to see him on Instagram, Twitter, putting up cryptic tweets and stuff like that. That's the only thing that I'm not the biggest fan of or in favor of is some of the stuff that Brandon Aiyuk is doing. But, I know the younger generation is how it is. And this is what receivers do. Aiyuk also followed with a post of his own that said, "Don't forget what got you there." Also on February 13th, Aiyuk's best friend posted, "This is the exact reason why we leave in San Francisco." So it's just been a lot of smoke, man. A lot of stuff. A lot of smoke here, man. So I get both sides of the argument. On March 3rd, Dan Grazzano, ESPN, reported that Aiyuk is a potential trade candidate if no extension is reached this offseason. And then March 25th, John Lynch said that the team is in contact with Aiyuk's camp to work out a long-term contract. Aiyuk then responded via IG with emojis, "Money talk, bullshitty walk." So looks like Aiyuk really does want to get up out of there and get paid. Either one. On April 12th, Aiyuk unfollowed the 49ers on IG. That's what people do nowadays. And then also on May 25th, Jeremy Fowler reported that Aiyuk appears to want the 49ers to beat Amon-Ra St. Brown's contract and is using it as a benchmark. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's a darn good player, and he's the number 1 in this league. He definitely is. So it's going to be tough for Aiyuk to beat that. And if he wants that, Aiyuk's contract, he got $30 million. So if that's what he's looking for, I'm sorry. That's kind of a tough pill to swallow. But talent is talent. You got to do your best to surround your young quarterback with talent. You look what the Bears did, Keenan Allen. They already have DJ Moore. So they're stacking up. And they drafted Rome Odunze. So they're trying their best to help out their young quarterback. You look at the Eagles. They traded for A.J. Brown. So a lot of teams, when they have that young quarterback on a rookie contract, this is the time to do it. It is. This is the time. We got all that cap space. We got all that money. This is the time to do it when a quarterback is on a rookie deal. C.J. Stroud, they traded for Stephon Diggs. Even though they already have Tank Dell, they already have Nico Collins. This is the time to make that move and bolster your wide receiving core. But I do want to see what this offensive line is like. And we're not one move away from being a Super Bowl contender. The Eagles felt like they were one move away at the time they made it to the Super Bowl and lost. and then CJ Stroud with the Texans, they feel like they are one move away, and they probably could be. They just made the playoffs, and the future is bright with CJ Stroud. So who knows? But I think the future is bright clearly with Jaden Daniels. If they do think they're wide receiver away from really competing in the NFC East and making the playoffs, then I'm behind it. I'm not against the move at all. I love when teams are aggressive. I love when GMs are aggressive, and I love when they try to attack the receiver position and the skill position. And Cliff Kingsbury I would love to see what he does with so many talented receivers as well. And then the whole TikTok conversation where Jaden Daniels and Aiyuk were on FaceTime, he says that they don't want me back. I swear. That's what Aiyuk said about the 49ers. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I'm fine with the move if they make that move. But if they decide to be conservative and just build, if Adam decides to wait a year and see what happens with Aiyuk, then I'm fine with that too. But you may not be able to wait. They may get a deal done and get a contract extension, which is kind of what I feel like is going to happen. That's just my gut feeling. All right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Aiyuk-Commanders. Peace.